Okay, it looks like we're gonna be live. We should be live, I guess. Perfect. Welcome everyone. This is the fourth round of our graduation. We have 5 projects graduating today, and we're hoping that everyone's tech check has gone all right. Everyone has got their coffee if it's morning, and people in the YouTube are very anxiously looking forward to the graduation. We have some people already in the room to cheer on our OLS4 mentees. So without further ado, I'm going to actually just launch it by reminding all of us that there is a code of conduct that applies to this call as well. That you can find it on Open Life Science website. The link for the in-person attendee are being sent on the chat. If you would like to report anything, please write us at team@openlifesci.org. If you want to reach out to individual members from the team, you can write to Bernice, Yo, Annie, or me. I'm just going to actually name 5 teams that are going to present today, and today's first presenter is Adarsh Kalikadian. Adarsh, to you.
Yes, thank you, Monica. I'll share my screen. I prepared some slides. Let's check. Is this working correctly for you guys?
Looks great.
Nice. All right. Good. So a bit of a technical topic, but today I'll be talking about computational tool that we made, Chemical Space Explorer, ChemSpax, and during the OLS program, I've been working on improving it and for open science. I'm a PhD student in an inorganic systems engineering group at the TU Delft, and I was mentored by Esther and Maurits, whom I will introduce later on in the presentation as well. And I'll talk about catalysis in general and the need for open science there, and about the tool and what we did. So yeah, as I said, Esther Plomp, the data steward at our faculty, and Maurits Kok, who is a research software engineer at the Digital Competence Center of TU Delft. They both mentored me during this project. And I myself am part of the inorganic systems engineering group at the TU Delft, headed by Professor Pitko. And in this group, we do theoretical and experimental research to catalysis. So as you can see, there's both sides to it. There's a theoretical part and a practical part. It's actually doing stuff in the lab. But what is catalysis even, and why does it need open science? That's maybe a good starting point. So a catalyst is a molecule that increases the rate of a chemical reaction without itself undergoing any permanent change. So that means that using a catalyst, we can steer a chemical reaction in a certain direction that we're interested in. And in 80% of all manufactured products, molecules like this are used. If you look around you, like for fuels or household products, everything was produced using some catalyst in the production process. And some catalyst molecules that we investigate are shown here, for example. And it's quite a difficult structure. As you can see, there's like a metal center somewhere here. There's phosphorus there, oxygen there. Quite difficult to imagine by yourself. So how are these things designed? Well, usually it's a very cumbersome task, and these wizards are nowadays replaced by professors. So a professor goes to the lab and tells you like, hey, maybe you should try this and this structure, and you try it and it doesn't work, and you do that for 10 years and then maybe you'll find something that works. So what we're now working towards is more computational methods, so more predictive computational methods. And in there, what you see is that catalysis has mostly been a very closed off science, as in people were not sharing their tools and their data. And nowadays they see the need for it. And that's also what we have been working towards, an open source tool. So ChemSpax, a Chemical Space Explorer, basically what it does is, well, to train models for predictive stuff, you need data. And what it does, it creates variations of your catalyst structure. So you start with a certain structure, You feed it into the program and it creates variations such that you have more data to explore for your models, very simply said. And when I started working on this program, I wanted to, during the OLS program, I wanted to improve it for more open science. And I started with very vague and crude goals. So I was like, yeah, revamp the code. I wanted the README to be understandable. And I had some ambitious goals, like I want installation to be very easy in Python and make it usable by people without any knowledge of coding. And during the program, I started realizing that there is more to open science than just these vague and big goals. So together with my mentors, we adjusted the planning and started breaking it down into sub goals. So for example, adding code of conduct and contributing, learning how to manage it. So how do you let people contribute to your GitHub repository without having to constantly intervene, working with pull requests, that kind of stuff. But also, like, for example, a vague goal like revamping the code, what does it consist of? Like, yeah, you need a project board for your planning, you need to collect example projects that you want to look at, you need a whole new folder structure, changing some scripts, and set up files in Python to make the installation easy. And README, it was the same kind of breakdown, because we realized that, okay, having an MD file as a README is interesting and fun, but hosting it as a website on GitHub Pages, for example, which you can do like automatically, is very nice. But also like getting feedback from actual users, students that are using the package, was very important. Yeah, so that was my OLS journey. And afterwards, I made some future plans, and from these future plans, the bold ones are the ones that I actually learned during the OLS program. So from the feedback we got, that actually giving the input to the program is very difficult. So it might be nicer to have it well in an easier way, and we need to keep track of our version number, because if people are citing and using the package, then you actually want to know in a publication, like, okay, but which version did this person use for this certain use case in their publication? And that also goes with the DOI. And we also realize that there is a need for parallelization and that kind of stuff. But yeah, with that, I would like to thank you all for your attention. And this OLS journey has been a great ride for me. So thanks.
Thank you so much, Adarsh. I don't even need to tell people. A round of applause and lots of nice emojis for Adarsh to let him know it was a brilliant presentation. Thank you so much. I think we might be able to take questions. Let me just go back to my Etherpad and look for it first. So there are some comments, which is, it's very interesting to hear the realization of open science is way more than we initially thought. Question, exciting to hear you have users who can test and offer feedback. How many did you have?
I think around 5 or 6 right now. So it's not like a huge community or anything, but it's also a very specific field, I would say. So
I think 5, 6 are pretty good qualitative wise. Did you design that feedback session, or was it a bit more open conversation that?
Actually, it was a very open conversation. They just started using it and started giving feedback, and then I reacted to it.
It's amazing. Any more questions? Please do add there. I think we might have at the end of the call a lot more time to have to take more questions. Thanks so much, Adarsh. You have graduated.
Amazing, yes.
Our next speakers are Alessandra and Lisanne.
Thank you. Screen should share. Hey. Hi, everyone. I'm Lisanne Walma, and this is my colleague Alessandra Candian, and we are both open science and academic skills teachers at Delft Technical University. Anything to add?
No, I think it's a very good presentation.
Yes, why, thank you so much. So we are a team, and we have been mentored by Patricia Hedrick, and we're so excited that she is here. And we will give a short explanation about what we did during our open life science journey. So what was the background of our journey? So we run a massive open online course about open science. It's an introductory course. It's ran by the TU Delft, but everybody is welcome to join it. We find we get a lot of PhD candidates from the TU Delft, but also it's open to researchers, research support staff. And we actually also have people from across the globe that join our course. The course has a yearly run. It has 6 different modules spread out in 6 weeks. 3 are mandatory. They are Introduction to Open Science, Introduction to Data Management, as well as Open Publishing. And we have 3 elective modules on visibility, on fair software, and on citizen science. So it's a big mix of all kinds of subjects that this MOOC covers. And there's also a big team involved because each module has its own module manager. There are people that do the video productions, that help transcribe things, and that place things in the online environment. So there's a big team involved. That's just some background. And we came to this journey with the idea that we wanted to make some changes because it has run over 5 years, this MOOC, and we saw a decreasing number of enrollments. We saw also that there were a lot of students that didn't finish the MOOC. And we have a lot of discussion forums and asking questions to participants within the MOOC, but we didn't always get a lot of response. So we came to OLS with the idea we want to really create more engagement, build more of a course community around the MOOC. So that is how we ended up joining. We have multiple insights, but we started off this project, really the 2 of us brainstorming a lot together with Patricia. And during our many talks, we had a lot of ambitions about maybe creating more live moments, about revamping all of the content. And I think what Ardash also said is you realize at some point you have to focus on a minimum viable product and really think about what is the thing we want to get out of it right now. Also because the MOOC was running at the same time that we were doing the course. So we focused first on updating the content. You see here below a slide of some old encyclopedias. And this was really from our introduction. We made a historical introduction to open science that we worked really hard on. We created some additional feedback videos. We made a podcast. So we really added all kinds of nice additional engaging contents for our learners. So that was the first thing that we really learned during our journey. A second thing was when we were thinking about the content was the personas and pathways assignment, because we both made a persona. I wrote a PhD candidate. I think you wrote a research supporter.
Support
Yes.
staff.
Yes. And we quickly realized that we run this course from May to June. And just thinking about what these personas do during that period, they are incredibly busy. So a course on really introducing yourself to open science and opening up might not be the first thing on their radar. So an assignment like that really got us thinking that we maybe should change the timeline of our course. So that were our key findings for insights for content. And
yes, so and then during all the process, we realized that maybe we had more important thing that we should thinking on about our project, and it was about open work. As Lisanne mentioned at the beginning, we are a team of, we are a lot of people. I think we are 15 or even more that in a way or another are linked to the course and work during the run of the course and a little bit before and after. But it's not like a team of people that work along the year all together. So we realize also that the responsibilities, who needs to be doing what is not often clear. And so this created a lot of stress during the run, a lot of emails that could have been, going along the weekends, and some frustration from some of the people that were involved. So we decided that maybe this is one of the first things we should look at. And speaking also with Patricia and with Emma Karune, we start to think, okay, how can we improve our way of working together as a team? We are from different departments also that we don't meet often. In our workflow, we don't work much together. So that's what we have been thinking. So we develop a project development plan where we break down into a small action what we can do to make first feel that we are really a team, and then start to implement better ways to working as a team, following the suggestion, for example, the contribution description that we have learned about during the OLS 5 program. And the very first thing that we did was at the end of the run, that was June 29th, we had a team lunch. So we meet to have lunch and celebrate the achievement, and we discuss a little bit what was to be happening next. And the next steps are really working on that. So during the summer and before the run of 2023, we'd like to build up a governance structure and a governance framework, having all the people chipping in and try to figure out what are our roles, if we like them, how we want to change, what are the responsibility, and have them very clear out there so that people can know what they need to do, or so they can decide for themselves what is the involvement and how much involvement they want to have with the project. So this is going to be our first step. Let's say the first very big step with small steps in between. And then, because we still wanted to engage more people, we are looking at all the ideas that we have during the beginning of our journey about how to improve engagement. And we are trying to see how we can implement them in the next run. We'd like to finish with some acknowledgements. So we'd like to acknowledge the great OLS community and the project leads, and a special thanks to Emmy that bring this program to our attention. So we are here and we enroll. Patricia, we love you. Thank you very much for your help and everything. And also we'd like to acknowledge some of the OLS participants that gave us feedback and good ideas during the process. Ismael, Frederic, who's here, good luck, Evelyn, and Emma for being very nice and give us our time and speak about working open. And also I'd like to thank you all for your attention. Thanks.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I was too busy posting the link to your blog post. That's coming out soon. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. Lots of love that we can feel here. I'm going to go back into my job as a moderator. I feel like I have forgotten how it's like to be in cohort. We are so stretched. Let me look back. So some questions. First one, would you say your current audience are primarily researchers or supporters or students or general public?
I think that at the moment, looking also at the course run on the edX platform, so we can have some ideas on their on the level of education. So I think we are mostly with PhD candidates at the moment, but we have also we see an increase in support staff that want to, I think, learn more about open science. What we are trying to do is maybe try to see that is open to really everybody, so that everybody that is interested can go there and learn a little bit.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. I think especially the first module is really an introduction to open science. So that's really broad. So I can imagine something like that could go a long way for more of a general audience. Some of the other ones about publishing are a bit more specific, of course, but yeah, parts of it could definitely be
and the citizen science to understand their, if you want to participate in a project.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, so there's some potential there for sure.
I love how I can already see the team dynamics here, and already commented on that. It's so good to see that you built a team around the work. Yo, do you want to tell your comment here?
Thanks. So I've been lucky enough to be working with NASA because they're developing an open science online course as well. And very early, they were absolutely referencing your MOOC as an inspiration, as something good that they wanted to emulate. And I just want to make sure that was out there and really cool.
Thank you.
Oh, that's so cool.
We will tell to, because we are just starting this year, so there are a lot of people that made the MOOC what it is. So we are bringing this nice message back to our colleagues.
For sure.
Thanks.
Amazing. There are lots of really good comments, but I just want to also say that your team lunch idea just made me smile. I just feel that's so important to sit down with your team and understand how they're feeling. Please do have a look. There are a few questions I might have skipped, but please go back to the Etherpad and reply. But thank you so much, Lysandra, Lisane. Congratulations. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to the next one. And this is our very own Jyoti.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jyoti.
Hello everyone. Really happy to be here presenting today. All right, so I'll share my screen. Are my slides visible?
Yeah, looks good. Jyoti, would you like us to take off our video as well to avoid internet glitch? Maybe we do. Go ahead, Jyoti.
Yes, sure. How can I do that?
We're taking off our video. You don't worry about it. Go
Oh.
ahead with your presentation.
All right, let me get started. Okay. I'm here presenting to you my work done throughout the OLS 5 cohort. So I'm Jyoti Bhogal. I'm based out of India and I'm one of the co-founders of RSC Asia Association. In OLS 5 cohort, I had applied with my project titled Building Pathways for Onboarding to Research Software Engineering Asia Association and Adoption of Code of Conduct. For this project, my mentor was Malvika Sharan, who is also present here. And the mentorship turned out to be really fruitful as I and Saranjeet, the other co-founder of RSC Asia Association, kept on taking consistent steps, whether small or large, to keep growing the association. The inception of RSC Asia Association goes back to September 2021, when our idea of starting it got the support of the experts from OLS 4 cohort. Back then, we started with a very basic logo, and with OLS 5, we progressed and we had a new logo for us, and that's a small new over there. Apart from that, I want to share the milestones that we stepped on. So the first, the selection into OLS 5 itself was a big milestone for us, following which we started our discussions with our mentor around how to get our association registered. We wanted to register ourselves in India as an NGO. So with the guidance from my mentor Malvika, I read several articles. I found out about the different kinds of NGOs that function here in India. After a lot of careful reading, understanding, and discussions with my mentor, we finalized which type of NGO would be the best for us to register as. We went ahead and spoke to another person from the field who connected us with. We spoke to her. We also spoke to some legal people, spoke to CAs, and started with our process for registration. At the moment, the work is in progress, and we are expecting the legal processes to get completed in around 6 months. So when that was about the registration part. Apart from that, when we talk about community work, we have identified one problem that a lot of people are very enthusiastic about participating in community work, about contributing in it. However, there is a lack of pathways to join the community, and that's why we had an idea of starting a working group so that people can contribute to us in specific ways and in specific time duration. So we at RSC Asia are in the process of setting up a working group with representatives from different parts of Asia and also a code of conduct team. We recently had a call for volunteers for the same, and we are really happy to have received the responses that we have got. These positions that we have opened these are open for 12 months from the date of start, with an average of 2 to 3 hours of time commitment per month. We are also flexible to adapt if someone is unable to commit that long. After 12 months, we are allow giving the opportunity to even offboard or stay in the same position or even move to another position in the working group itself, and so that people have the flexibility and do not feel burdened at all. So this is an excellent opportunity, I feel, to work for an emerging multinational RSC association. I would also like to mention that currently we are a team of 3 and we are maintaining the RSC Asia website, and this is a screenshot of the same. Throughout the cohort, we kept on updating our website regarding the different events that took place. During the cohort, I would like to mention that the other co-founder of RSC Asia, Saranjeet, participated in a number of talks, events, and workshops. You can see a glimpse of all of those here. To know more about these events, you can also visit our website, whose details I would share in the last slide. The RSC Asia Association also got listed as an observer association, which is represented by Saranjeet at the International Council of RSC Asia Associations. Recently, on July 8th, we had conducted a workshop, a hands-on workshop, where Isabella Presero-Floyd and Mars Lee very graciously accepted our invitation to share their knowledge of how all texts are written. We had a very exciting, engaging event where people came, participated, did hands-on work. There were pull requests, and so it was a successful event. As
I think we lost Jyoti for...
and so
Go ahead, Jyoti.
hands-on workshops for future. Hello.
Yeah, Jyoti, can you go ahead?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Sure. Oh, all right. So that was all about the work that we could achieve throughout the OLS 5 cohort. Do come and to our website and have a look at our activities. We are absolutely active on our Twitter page, which has the handle RSC_Asia. We are also active. To contact us, you can speak to us via our Gmail as well. And the results for call for working group will be announced in August. Last but not the least, we feel really grateful to the OLS team for giving us this chance to grow our RSC Asia Association. We are extremely thankful to be part of such a wonderful and supportive community that OLS is. And here you can see all our contact details, and I really urge you all to have a visit on our Twitter handle or our website. So I would also like to share a glimpse of the same.
Thank you so much. We have Pradeep Iranti watching us on YouTube and sends lots of claps for you. Folks in the call, please do show us some emoji claps and hearts. And apparently we all can turn on our video. Thank you so much for that, Jyoti. That was fantastic. And I am extremely proud. And I am so grateful that I had the chance to witness this amazing work right in front of my eyes. I'm going to actually pass it to you, just so I do not continue to cheese and fangirl your work.
There's a problem. I want to do that too. Jyoti, that was a really lovely presentation. Thank you for sharing that. I'm just going to quickly check if we have any questions. So we have some nice comments. Love the idea of forming a working group. We have people saying that we love that you made it so clear that volunteer commitments, there were how many hours and how long it is. Patricia points out this is why we're here. We're here to be fangirling, to really admire everything everyone's been doing. We have the question, how many of you are working on the project and how long did it take from when you started to where you got to now?
All right, so we started last year in September. So we initiated with OLS 4, and we are very, very thankful for that. Had we not had the support from the experts from the OLS team, we wouldn't have reached here. So it was all due to the mentors from OLS group that we kept on continuing to work consistently. So we started in September 2021 along with OLS 4, and we had some stepping stones throughout the OLS 4 journey, and we planned for some more stepping stones for OLS 5. Now we have our basic digital structure at the place. That was the main objective of OLS 4, of our project during OLS 4, and during 5, we took it further to expand the community. Yeah.
Less than a year? That is amazing how much you have done. We have another question. We love the workshop on alt text, but then also what was challenging in working on this project from scratch?
So the basic challenges were getting in contact with people who could help us resolve the little issues that we faced. Like for example, during OLS 5, I had initially issues with managing time itself. So basically, I am working at another organization full time, and I am doing this voluntarily. During weekends and all other days as well. So that the main challenge was time management, but it was due to all the support from OLS that we could. We could just mention it to. I could mention to Malvika as well as you during our cohort calls and co-working group calls, and every time we mention even this smallest obstacle, I got some or the other solution from the team. So that was had that not been there, we could not have proceeded.
Thank you so much. I think Malvika's heart is just exploding right now. Okay, one last round of applause for Jyoti, and then we're going to give our last two presentations some time, my friends.
Thank you.
Oh, Malvika, someone pass her the tissues. Okay, I'm gonna screen share on behalf of Beandre. And Emmy, do you want to do the last presentation after that? Okay, cool. Right, let me get this all screen shared-y. I'll make that big and I'll press that button. Share sound, share the correct screen, no notifications. Okay, can you see a black screen? All right, I'm going to play and hopefully it's going to do sound and everything.
Good morning, everyone, or at least it's morning in Johannesburg. Good day to everyone else, and I'm very happy to share my OLS project with you today. The project has gone from I have a great idea to something in between working towards a first prototype and just launched a first prototype. My mentor is Batul, and I would like to thank her right at the beginning for being a great mentor and a source of endless knowledge, advice, help, and patience. Thanks a lot, Batul. It has been a great couple of weeks going through the OLS program with you. The vision for this project has been simple. I drew on my own experiences as someone with a legal background learning art for the first time. I started learning art during my postgraduate study without much any technical support from my faculty or department. I relied heavily on other fields of research and our users and the resources, sources for examples, information, and tips that they provided. With this project, I wanted to make a resource available to people with legal backgrounds to see relatable, context-driven, and practical examples from their own field. Community contributions are a big part of what I hope to include in the resource, and contribution on technical aspects, but also sharing why our stories make up a very big part of this vision as well. This resource, in the way that most R resources are open to use by other fields or practice, and where some of the lessons are universal, is open to anyone that finds value in it. And this is as far as being a user or a contributor goes. It really is for everyone, but like I said, the examples will be more context and specific to people with legal backgrounds, and it'll have a heavy focus on text as data and document-based analysis of text and that kind of thing. The current layout is as follows. There are a few resource centers. These will include examples as well as a package that contains templates for South African law journals or for journal templates, and eventually law faculty thesis templates. The progress so far is quite exciting. This is what it currently looks like. I'm getting there slowly. I had initially started with the idea of using a book down layout and have now decided to go for a blog down layout. I'm busy giving attention to the package and some of the more useful examples before fixing smaller issues with the website. It will be made with Hugo Netlify and applies the Hugo Refresh template. I'll share links on the OLS channel in the upcoming weeks. It will be great if the community can have a look and contribute and comment. There will be the option to contribute via GitHub, and I'm still trying to work out how to capture the YR or my why stories. I have considered Google Forms and then manually transferring to the website, and I'm very open to suggestions on this point. I have learned a lot during the OLS program, but here are a few examples. Skills, very practical ones like GitHub, have been amazing to learn in the Skill Up lessons. I have learned a lot from the organizers themselves in terms of how to run sessions like this and how to organize a project in the way that they have that looked effortless, but I know there was a lot of effort put into it. So thank you for that very practical example of how to, in open science, for everyone participating. I have learned to really think about the audience that my resource is aimed at and what their challenges may be in terms of access, not only to the resources, but also to other resources needed to eventually apply what is available on my YR website. Licensing has been an eye-opener for me. This is a whole new field of law, and I've thoroughly enjoyed learning about licenses and trying to work out what to do with licenses in my project's context. The importance and usefulness for all participants as far as a code of conduct and community guidelines goes is one of the really big lessons for me. It's my first project where I've really had to think and reflect on what I would include in my own project's code of conduct and community guidelines and how to incorporate that into my resource. This is still a work in progress for me, and I hope to have that completed relatively soon. I took on a project much larger than anticipated, but I'm very happy with the shape it's taken, and to be at a point where I have a great idea is now somewhere between working towards a first prototype or just launched one. Thank you very much. There are a lot of people to thank. These are a few of the names, but I would also like to thank and note the OLS Cohort 5 participants that were great during calls and really provided insight and asked great questions. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Don't know if that comes through on the mic. That was really, really good to watch. Thank you so much, Beandre. I've been watching questions come through just on the Etherpad while that was being presented, and it's looking really good. So we have quite a few. First of all, well, just comments as well, but it's so exciting to see the legal and IT intersection. And then the question, do you consider students as audience or only researchers or people in legal jobs? I guess, who is the audience? Maybe we could rephrase.
So for me, the audience was all of those people. I think what students would get from the resource is very different to what practitioners might get, which is different to what researchers might get. But I think learning it as soon in your career as possible is definitely a benefit. So yeah, absolutely, students are part of the audience as well. So the idea is to have examples that people get in different stages of their career get value from. So perhaps not just research focused examples, but maybe something that an undergraduate student might find useful as well.
Fantastic. And that makes a lot of sense, actually, yeah, to have multiple different audiences who get different things. Couple more comments. The webpage looks great already. It looks like you learned so much so quickly, and it's really impressive. I will second that. It was when I saw that first screenshot, I was like, ooh, that's really nice. And I love the comment. I enjoyed hearing this one myself, actually, but here we have someone saying project management that looks effortless but has a lot of effort behind it is very relatable. That was a really nice comment, I think, from our side to hear as well. And does anyone we have like 1 or 2 minutes before we should do the last one. Does anyone want to unmute for any questions or comments? Not required. Okay. I'm just going to add one comment of my own, which is that I love that we have like these chains of mentors and mentees that have happened. So for example, Batul's here, she was your mentor, and we know that Analdo was her mentor in a previous program. And it's just, at some point, we're going to have like OLS grandbabies, and it's going to be amazing. All right, one last round of applause for Beandre, and then we'll pass over to the next one. That was really great. Thank you so much, Beandre. Emmy, do you want to take us through to the end of the call?
Happy to. It's just been so joyful to listen to all of you graduate, but the fun doesn't stop here. Obviously, we still have another presentation today by my dear Frederic, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Right. You see my screen? Yeah. All right. Thank you, Amy. I was going to do it at the end, but I'm going to do it now. I'm here because of Amy, so we can all blame Amy for me being here. Because last year she convinced me to participate in OLS 5, and yeah, that has been a great journey. So that's why I say around OLS 5 in 16 weeks. So my mentors were Ariel Bennett and Julien Colombe, so they were also fantastic. And I'm going to talk about implementation of data sharing in open access journal publication workflow. So a bit of background, I'm working as a TUDEF like Alexandra and Lisanna, and I am part of the Open Science program. So I am the manager of the Open Access Academic Publisher of the TU Delft, and which is part of the Open Science program. We have 7 projects, and 4, we are all interlinked. And we do publish open access journals, open books, open textbooks. This is great. We are all working together. But if I look closely to open access journal, I just realized, particularly, there is a lack of integration of open science principles in our journals, like open data, open peer review, and there is not so much transparency for authors who publish in our journals. So, and also not all steps are fully described on the website. So if we are open science, everything should be transparent, everything should be written, so accessible to everyone. So this is where the project started. So my goal was to work on all this open science principle at the beginning. And I wanted to make it as a standard process in our publication processes. But when I started discussing with Ariel and Julian, they were saying, hold on, I think it's a bit too much. So at the end, they were right, actually, there was no other way. So I had to choose a topic I had to focus on, and I chose open data. The reason for that is because at the TUDEF, we have the Fair Data and Fair Software project under the TUDEF Open Science Program, but also we have a 4TU research data, which is pretty big at the TUDEF. So it was the logical place to start. So I just refocused my project, and it became like how to embed open data checkpoints in the publication process on open access journals. So in my opinion, this is how I started. Authors must share their data when publishing our journal. This is what I want. This is what I would like to achieve. So with all the discussion I had with Ariel and Julien, I also had some very nice discussion with Patricia, which I think is in the audience, and with Sarah and Jez. And I came up with a proposal publication workflow where we can check if the data are open. So I think you're all familiar with the submit, review, publish, make it simple. So if you submit what we would like to put the data steward to check if the data are open. It's an idea. So I know some data steward will say, hey, they have a lot of work. It's just an idea. So they can check if the data set is citable, if we have a data access statement, and if it's accessible, then the paper goes through the next steps, the review process. Is here you can see also we talk about dataset peer review. This is another project I'm working on with the 40 research data people at the TUDEF. So you can just ignore that one. So when the paper has been gone through the peer review process, is accepted, we need to go for a second round of check. Again, if the data set is citable, if it's accessible, and if the data access availability statement is available. The reason why I added this here is having a discussion, I think was with Sarah, and she was saying often people say, yeah, they say the data would be accessible at the end when the paper is accepted, but in essence, it never happened. So this is why I put that in. And as a bonus also, when the paper is published, one of our journals is doing it actually. They put a radio button next to the PDF HTML of the paper, a button, a direct link to the data set. So it's actually, I think it's a very nice. So this is a proposal of the publication workflow, how it should be. My next steps would be to get feedback from the journals editors of this workflow. I've already started this process, and the first question was how much it will cost, which is a valid question. Who's going to cover the cost? And if we involve the data steward, should that be at the TUDEF? I mean, they are employed by the faculty. Should that be included in their work, or should we give them extra money? I mean, there are a lot of discussion about this. For me, it relates to, for the peer review process, should we or should we not pay the reviewers for their work? So that's where it's a similar thing. I will also need to get feedback from my colleagues, the data stewards, the project leaders of the Fair Data, Fair Software project at the TUDEF. Also use a proof of concept. I think that was introduced to me maybe by Patricia or Sarah, I don't remember. I love it, to implement open data in the publication workflow. So that would be the next steps. And the last one, implement real open work in the publishing team. I know you will see why I say that. We have a publishing team from people from different departments. We all think we are working openly, but after the OLS, I realized we don't. So I think it would be nice when we resume our meeting in September, so I can implement some of the things I've learned here with the OLS. And so what I learned, GitHub, I didn't know how to use GitHub at all, so I'm quite happy with that. To use this diagram net to make some the publication workflow I show you, so that was really nice for me. And again, on a personal note, working fully open is a philosophy for me. So, and those values are useful for everyday's life. So that's what I can, this is what I've learned. I knew it, but it's a kind of to confirm this. And also, Amy, who knows me, asking for feedback is something, you know, I'm somebody who's always scared of asking for feedback, you know. So at the end of the day, it opens horizon and actually triggers new ideas, and we shouldn't be afraid of asking for feedback. So that's what it is. And also the last thing is breaking down the project in small projects. This is what I did actually. And having a minimum viable product is more than enough to get the project going. So this is it. I'm really happy with this. Thank you, OLS, for this opportunity. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, all my mentors and the experts. And yeah, you have a new fan from the OLS. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Frédéric. Round of applause, lots of hearts, and just amazed. Blows my mind to see your work. Every single time, even before OLS, but even more so now, just how much you've learned, how much you've, especially what you said around feedback and around, you know, listening and continually trying to learn from others as well. The number of people who have, you know, whose advice you've taken into the project, like just all around wonderful to see. Aside from my own fangirling, you can actually go to the Etherpad and have a look at all your wonderful, colorful comments as well. There's quite a few questions there. I don't know how we are on time. Maybe we can take one. And then Frédéric, if you want to head to the pad and give folks some lovely responses, that might help. So what do we want to answer? I like this one. Will you keep a way to contact with one or more of the authors as responsible of the published data? So what happens if the author move on to another job in that workflow that you show? Does that make sense? Yeah, I mean.
So, say that again, sorry. I was
No
distracted.
worries. So let's say an author submits a paper and then they moved on to another job. Do you have a way to keep in touch with this author as they are responsible for the published data to make sure that, you know, you go through this process of the review and things?
Oh, no, we don't have a way, but this is a good one, actually. Maybe this is something I should think about. Well, I mean, I hope we will be able to contact these authors. Hopefully they are co-authors, because usually they don't submit an article by themselves. So that will be one. And if we don't have a way to contact the authors, then that's the way it is. I mean, this is part of the job, because people move on with their job. So maybe we have to be, the first step, we have to be fast. The first initial check. So it has to happen very quickly. That's a good one, Amy. It should happen after maybe within 2 weeks when the author submits the paper to the journal. I think that's what it is. Yeah, but I will put it in.
Thank you so much for this comment, and thanks for the answer. Yeah, it's a difficult question, definitely. But if folks have other ideas to make this a bit smoother for everyone, I mean, just want to highlight that having worked at a publisher, like this kind of workflow that you're coming up with here to look at data quality and sharing is pioneering. There's not that many journals out there that's actually doing this or trying to find a way to do it. So congratulations. As someone said on the comments, very inspiring, fantastic work.
Thank you.
Another round of applause, hearts, as we come to the end of this call. Well done. Congratulations, and just wonderful to see everyone and everyone on YouTube as well. Thank you for joining us today. I am trying to see if, oh, group photo. We should take a photo. I see Yo's indicating that she's gonna take care of the actual logistic side of it. But if you would put on your biggest or less faces, whatever you prefer. I see Esther. Sorry, I got distracted. All right, in 3, 2, 1. Okay,
wait.
one more.
Oh, why is it not working?
Oh,
I know it. Right, 3, 2, 1. Done.
Thank
fantastic.
you all.
Thank you so much. Oh, baby.
That's a surprise graduation baby.
Thank you for joining. And there's one more graduation call coming up on this Wednesday. If you can, I think it's in the evening, UK European time, and available on the calendar if you want to check when it is. But we hope to see you there as well as a bilingual Spanish-English graduation call. But other than that, congratulations once again to all of our project leads and everyone who is here. And we hope to stay in touch, hang around the Slack community, and yeah, all the best. Have a good day. Have a good evening.